There's something in the flapping that kind of tells me like where it's going. We're going for it, ready? Do you remember last year when I built the giant boxing robots? I invited my friend Will over and we had a friendly little competition, but Will mopped the floor with me. At the time, I tried to be a good sport about it, but honestly, ever since then, I've had a little bit of revenge in my heart. So I've been doing a little plotting, a little scheming, and I want to invite Will back over here and have a little bit of a rematch. We're gonna play the classic Nintendo game, Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is the one where you use the blaster and you shoot down the ducks, and when you miss, that little annoying dog will laugh at you and it's really infuriating. But I don't want to leave this up to chance. I have a plan that will guarantee that I win Duck Hunt every single time. At the end of this video, I'm going to invite Will over, we'll play a few games of Duck Hunt, and we'll see if my plan for revenge comes together. So here's the plan. I need to open up the Nintendo Zapper to see how it works. From my understanding, there's some sort of photodiode in here that detects color. And when you pull the trigger, it will let the console know whether it was a hit or a miss. So I need to open this up and figure out how all of that works. I'm gonna use a logic analyzer to figure out what kind of signals are going back and forth between the Zapper and the console. Once I do that, I'm gonna put my own microcontroller inside the Zapper, and it can replicate those signals and guarantee that I hit the duck every single time. But I think I need to take this one step further. There's only one Zapper in the Duck Hunt game, so I'm gonna have to hand this off to Will, and I don't want the hack to work for him. So I need to figure out a way to only enable the cheat mode for me and not for Will. Before I move on, I need to give a shout out to my friend and Patreon member Andrew Howard for this idea. All right, let's see what we're dealing with. Start by taking these screws out. That was sneaky, they hid another screw inside there. All right, looks like there's most of the electronics are right here in the center. This looks like it's just a weight to make the Zapper a little heavier. Inside here we got a lens, and I don't know if this is like a ferrite core. I don't know if that does anything or if it's just for weight, but it looks like it's like made out of ferrite. Here is what I'm assuming is the photodiode or some sort of photo detector right inside that little hood. That's what I'm assuming tells the console whether or not the duck has been hit. So we need to measure the signals that are being sent from the Zapper to the console. Instead of cutting the wires inside the Zapper to attach the logic analyzer, I actually ordered an extension cable that will go in series between the Zapper and the console. I feel much better about cutting open and stripping wires of an Amazon extension cable versus an original vintage Zapper from Nintendo. So let me get this connected to the computer with the logic analyzer and we'll take a look at those signals. I also have the logic analyzer software running on the computer, so hopefully we see something interesting. The signals that I'm interested in are the trigger and the color information, and I think those are pins 5 and 6. Okay, that's a hit, there's a miss, and a hit. At the end, I'm just gonna do 3 misses. All right, let's stop the logic analyzer and see what that looks like. So this first one was a hit. So the bottom purple signal is the trigger. It looks like it starts high, and anytime I pull the trigger, it pulls low, and then when I release the trigger, it goes high again. And then the color data looks like it's just a constant pulse, except that there's a little bit of a gap after I pull the trigger. I'm wondering if that has something to do with detecting whether or not I hit a duck on the screen. Okay, so here's another hit, and then this was our first miss. And I wonder if that gap is different on a miss than a hit. I can use the measurement tools here in the logic analyzer software to figure that out. Let's measure the gap after the hit. So that's like 31 milliseconds. And if I measure the gap after the miss, that is 66 milliseconds. That seems like we're onto something there. So it looks like a hit has a gap of 33 milliseconds, while a miss has a gap of 66 milliseconds. I wonder what the frequency is. Okay, so if you look here, it says 60 hertz. That's the same frequency that comes out of the wall outlet, at least here in North America. So I'm wondering if that is the refresh rate or something on the screen, if it's drawing the picture at 60 frames per second. There's also these big gaps in that color data. I'm wondering if that's when I had the Zapper pointed away and it wasn't actually looking at the screen. I'm gonna start a new logic session here, and I'm just gonna aim the Zapper at the screen and see what happens to the color information. Ah, look at that. When I point the zapper at the screen, I get that 60 hertz pulse, and when it's not looking at the screen, nothing. I'm wondering what will happen if we play the game again and look closer at the screen when the duck appears. It almost looks like there's like a white square around the duck, just briefly. I think looking at the slow motion is really going to help us out here. I've pulled it into my video editing software and I think I found something. So if I skip forward 1 frame at a time, we can see that the screen goes black. Then there's a white square that appears exactly where the duck was. So the frame before is totally black, then there's 1 frame with the white square, and then the next frame is where it starts drawing the hit duck. I think we've sort of cracked it here. If the sensor sees color, then it knows that it hit the duck because it was pointing at the white square. If it doesn't see color, then we know we missed the duck. So basically, 1 frame of black means that you hit the duck, and 2 frames of black means that you missed the duck. That's why we saw those 2 different spaces in between a hit and a miss. The miss was longer because there were 2 black frames back to back because we weren't aiming at the white square on the 2nd frame. This is really cool. I can't believe we actually figured this out. Once I replicate what we're seeing on the logic analyzer, I can unplug the zapper from the console, and then I'm going to connect up my microcontroller and inject our own signals into the console. All right, so here's what I've come up with. We're going to write the trigger pin high. We're going to give a few color pulses, and then we're going to delay for a single frame. And that delay tells the console that that's the 1 black frame where there's no color data seen. And then we're going to toggle the color pin again for another 50 cycles. And that tells the console that there was color on the 2nd frame, which means we're tricking it into thinking that it saw the white square. And then I eventually write the trigger pin low, and I can just do this over and over. And I've picked these values carefully so that this runs on a 1 hertz loop, meaning that it will pull the trigger every 1 second and tell the game that there is a hit. So let's try to load this on the microcontroller and connect it to the console and see if it works. I want you to notice that I unplugged the zapper, so it's not even in the equation. The microcontroller is literally doing all the heavy lifting. It's telling the console that I'm pulling the trigger and that I'm actually hitting the duck. So let's see if this works when I load the code. Okay, it wrote the code to the microcontroller. I'm gonna unpause the game and see what happens. It hit the duck. Oh my gosh. Those ducks don't even stand a chance. They're barely getting above the horizon. That is so funny to watch. Those ducks have no chance against my engineering skills. I don't even have a zapper plugged into this thing. I kind of feel a little bit bad. They're just like, pop up their heads and bam, they're gone. Should I feel bad about this? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think I'm gonna feel bad about it. I just updated the code, and rather than just running on a continuous loop every 1 second pulling the trigger, let's connect up this button and see if I can hit the duck every single time I press it. Okay, here we go. So it doesn't do it on its own, it waits till I press the button. Bam! Knock that sucker out of the sky. I never noticed that before, how the eyes bulge out on the duck. That's really grotesque. That stupid dog isn't making fun of me now. Are you? Are you, punk? That's right, that's what I thought. You hide behind that grass. Now that I've shown that I can generate the right signals that will trick the NES console into thinking that I hit the duck every time, I'm ready to put the microcontroller inside the zapper. When I open up the zapper, I see that the cable connects to the photodiode and trigger module inside there. So basically, I just need to cut that connection and stick my microcontroller in between those 2 points. Essentially, the microcontroller is sitting between the module inside the zapper and the NES console. Under normal operation, it will read those signals coming from the zapper and it will just mirror those to the output. However, once I put it into cheat mode, I'm going to intercept those signals and actually inject my own, tricking the console into thinking that I've hit the duck every single time. There are a couple of things that I'm worried about and I'm not sure are gonna actually work. I need to be able to read the color data and trigger data and pass it through in the same manner as a normal zapper gun. If it's not right, then the game will know something is up and it won't work. The other thing I'm worried about is being able to fit all of this inside that Zapper. I know I picked a really small microcontroller, but there's a lot of wires to this and I'm not sure it's all gonna fit. Oh my gosh, I have been stuck on this same problem for several days and I think I'm starting to lose my mind. It's day 3 of the hunt and I'm hiding under my desk. I'm starting to feel like the one who's being hunted. Shh, I think I hear them coming. Do you remember how I showed you that the Zapper produces a nice 60 Hertz pulse when it's pointed at the CRT screen? Well, I was able to read that with the logic analyzer before I cut the Zapper cable, but now I'm having trouble reading it. It's like it's not there. I don't know what I'm doing and I cannot figure it out. Fortunately, I've got myself some Trader Joe's cheddar cheese rocket crackers. Hashtag not sponsored. And I worked on this late last night. It occurred to me that I can read the signals when the Zapper is connected to the console, but when I try to read the signals with the Zapper disconnected, it doesn't work. So there's something that the NES console is doing with reading that input that my microcontroller is missing. And that's when it occurred to me that when I measure the input to the console, it's being held high, which means there's a pull-up resistor inside the console. And when I went to implement that on my microcontroller, I was using the internal pull-up resistors within the microcontroller, which are notoriously weak. So I got my multimeter and I connected it to the color pin on the console and it was being pulled up with a 10K resistor. On my microcontroller, the resistance was much higher, so it was a weaker pull-up. So all I had to do to fix the problem was get an external 10K resistor and solder that between 5 volts and the color pin, and that solved the problem. I was so happy when I figured this out because I was going crazy. After I installed that external 10K resistor, I saw the beautiful 60 Hertz pulse come through and I was so relieved. This microcontroller has a really handy RGB LED, and I added some code that turns the LED green when it's in normal operating mode, and it will turn red when I enter cheat mode. My plan is to tuck this magnet underneath my ring. Anytime that I'm holding the Zapper, it will enter cheat mode where I cannot miss. However, anytime that Will is holding the Zapper, he is guaranteed to miss 2 out of 3 shots. Isn't that awesome? Now I'm ready to call up my friend Will and see if he's able to come over to play a few rounds of Duck Hunt. Do you think he's gonna suspect that something is up? Do you think I'm gonna be able to fool him?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey Will, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Do you have a second? I got a question to ask you. Do you remember last year when you came over and helped me play the Rock'em Sock'em Robots game?
Yeah, of course.
I was wondering if you would be willing to help me out with another project. Here's what I have in mind. I have been wanting to play the game Duck Hunt. Did you ever play like Nintendo Duck Hunt with the little Zapper thing?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, when we played last, you kind of mopped the floor with me, and I wanted a little bit of revenge, so I've been practicing. So if you're cool with it, I want to have you over and play a few rounds of Duck Hunt.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
See you soon, Zach. Bye.
All right, Will just agreed to come over, so I guess there's no turning back now. It's been a few days since I've talked to Will, and he's actually on his way over now. So I just started getting set up, and I realized I forgot something. I need to glue the magnet into my wedding ring here. So I'm gonna do that, and I need to make sure that I get this glued up and that it dries before he gets here. All right, so we've got Will here. He's back. He's actually a friend of the channel. He's been on a video before. Like I said, he came and played Rock'em Sock'em Robots last year, and we had such a blast that I thought that we'd invite Will back. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of a rematch, because I don't know if you remember, you beat me pretty bad last.
Oh, I remember.
It was a little embarrassing because I had spent so much time building these things, and you just it was no question, you just wiped the floor. So it was a little bit of a defeat, and ever since then we gotta have a rematch.
All right, let's
Are
go.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
May the best hunter win, or whatever.
You didn't wear your hunting gear.
Shoot!
You did your vest and your orange hat. All right, Will, you're going first, and I'll go ahead and start the game. We're gonna start with one duck.
One duck.
Don't shoot the dog.
Oh,
Yes.
what? I almost shot.
Do you remember the dog? It makes fun of you when you miss.
Oh my God! Did I get it? What?
No.
Are you serious? All right, that's it.
Will,
Wow,
you are way out of practice.
This is really
You are
embarrassing.
way out of practice.
I'm trying to figure out. Do you have to read it? All right. Okay. All right.
You haven't hit a single one yet, man.
All right.
It's okay. It's been a long.
There
Oh,
we
there you
go.
go.
There.
Okay.
You know, you
got
have
one
to
under
be
your belt.
surprisingly accurate.
Yeah. Oh no, you'll get into the swing of things.
Oh, this is really embarrassing. All right, we got this.
I mean, it doesn't help that the dog is laughing at you.
No, this.
Man,
Oof, this is not
That's
so
rough.
good.
that's a rough start. Okay, game over. So you
Game
hit
over.
1 out of.
1 out of 10.
All right. So for round 1, Will got 1 out of 10.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Just.
That would be the score to beat. So 1,000 was his score. So I'm gonna jump in, and we'll go for my first round.
Yeah, you just gotta be loose. You know, like don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
What?
Oh.
Did you
like
go
that?
hunting as
How
a
do
kid
you like
or
them
something?
apples?
Whoa! All right. Well, all right. We got a
Okay,
new high score.
I've been practicing.
We got a new high score.
Okay.
What?
There's something in the flapping that kind of tells me like where it's going. And I even got to the point where I can kind of like close my eyes a little bit.
What? Are you serious?
All right, you ready? We're going for it. Ready? Are you ready for this?
No.
All right.
Okay. All right. That was decisive. That was decisive.
I got all 10 ducks.
You got
Will.
all 10.
I got a bonus for getting all 10. All right,
Okay.
19,000. This could be disastrous for you, Will. With my 10,000 point bonus.
So what advice do you have for someone who clearly could use some help?
You know, you've got the sight on the back and the sight on the front. You line those up.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you ready?
Ready. But you were going behind your back. All right. Well. Okay. Room for improvement.
Oh man,
Wow. This is.
you're struggling here,
So,
Will.
all right.
Oh, there you go. You got one.
There we go. We're having dinner tonight.
We're having dinner today. Oh, so close.
Okay.
You want? I'd say let's give it a little bit forward. Scoot a little bit forward. You need the extra help.
Yeah, I do think that's the last time I played this game.
Oh, there you go.
I was definitely like right up
Oh
against
yeah,
the
your
screen,
8-year-old
you
you was like cheating a little bit. Yeah, we don't condone cheating around here.
Fly away. All right. Well.
So your score was 4,000 for round 2. Much better. Good job. 4,000 with a little asterisk. We'll go round 2 for me. All right. I'm gonna close my eyes on this one. Here's a shot I've been working on. Western. Okay, 2 more ducks. Man, I think I'm gonna get another perfect
Savage.
score.
You are savage. That is insane. These
Okay.
poor ducks.
8,000 points. All right, after 2 rounds, does it feel like one of us might be underperforming while the other one might be overperforming?
I mean, you wouldn't like. You're clearly very skilled.
Oh, good. You're not going to accuse me of cheating or anything.
No,
like
no,
that.
no, no.
Of course not.
Not in a
right?
million years. No, you
Okay.
never do that.
All right, so I'd say for round 3, we'll give it one more try. I'll let you stand as close as you want. You could have that thing pointed right at here. And for round 3, I'm going to be facing the other way. I'm going to be just shooting over my shoulder. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, let's try that. Let's try.
Do we want to do 2 ducks for round 3? Let's do 2
Yeah,
ducks.
let's do 2.
Okay, we're going to do 2 ducks.
More ducks.
Okay, you can stand as close as you want.
All right.
Come on, Will. You can get closer, man. Get closer. How are you not hitting both ducks? You're like right at the screen here.
This is impressive. These ducks are very wily.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe they know it's you shooting them.
Oh, so, okay. So only have 5 rounds. Okay, all right.
Oh, game over. So
Ugh.
3,500 points, and we'll put another asterisk, okay? Because I let you stand as close as you want. All right, round 3. I mean, like even if let's say, I'm just for hypothetical purposes, let's say that I somehow am cheating on this game.
You can't cheat in this game.
We're using the same zapper.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you account for that?
I can't.
beyond skill.
Okay,
A difference
well,
in skill.
let's just drive home the fact this round, I'm gonna get a perfect score without even looking at it. And we'll once and for all, we'll settle this, that I am a superior duck hunter. I got them all. Perfect score. So 16,000 points for round 3. Do we even need to add them up? I don't know. Do you think there's something going on here? Do you have any suspicion, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, the thought occurred to me, like, honestly, kind of embarrassingly late. Like, maybe about halfway through the second round, I was like, wait a second.
Like when I was like shooting with my eyes closed, maybe, and like hitting every time, and you were struggling.
I could see like where the shots were, and it was like that felt like that should have been a hit, but you know.
Well, I'm gonna let you in on this.
How-
I have to admit something, that I may have used a little bit of revengineering to ensure, to guarantee that I won that game. So, you see, there's a little green light that sticks there.
Yeah.
What does that change colors when I put my hand on it?
Yeah, now it's red.
It turns red.
Oh wow! So is that
And then
like,
when I hand it back to you, wait for a second, and what color does it turn?
now it's green. What?
So I have to admit, I hacked the Zapper. Okay, so I put my own electronics inside there.
Oh my god!
And they read signals from the sensors that are in here, like the light sensors. And depending on who's holding it, 2 out of those 3 guarantee you were gonna miss. There was no amount of aiming at the duck where you were gonna hit that duck. It was impossible, okay? So I gave you 1 out of 3. If you were aimed properly, you could hit the duck.
Wow.
But when I held the gun, I have a little bit of magic up my sleeve here. So I hid a magnet behind my ring, and there is a sensor in the grip
God.
that detects this magnet. So when I'm holding the gun, it puts it into invincible mode, where I cannot miss. No matter what I do, I cannot miss.
So right now I'm having these flashbacks to being like the youngest child in my family. And like, just being like, "It's not fair! It's not fair!"
Well, in this case, there actually was an advantage that I didn't tell you about coming into this. And I appreciate you being a good sport and like kind of letting me poke fun at you a little bit.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, well deserved. Well deserved.
Do you want to open it up and see?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's open it up. I feel a little bad, honestly. I do feel a little guilty. If you're interested, I'll let you put the magnet on, and you can give it a shot too, so you can redeem a little bit of that self-esteem I just made you lose. So originally, you had the cable coming in here, and these 4 wires, and they got routed up here to this circuit board. So this is all original. This has what's called a photodiode in there, and it will read the color information coming off of the screen. So basically, I cut the cable that went from the console into this sensor, and I put my own microcontroller. So that's sort of like a little miniature computer that I can write code and give it instructions. So basically, I'm reading the information that's coming from that sensor, and then I'm sending back information to the console, depending on who's holding the gun.
Is there a mode that is just like normal?
That's what I originally had, and I was like, no. What if Will is going to be really good at this? I want there to be no chance. I want to give Will no hope of winning this game. So I kind of got really evil at the end, and I was like, okay, I need to add it where only 1 out of the 3 shots. Thanks again, Will, for coming over and being such a good sport.
Yeah.
You're welcome back anytime to play whatever you want.
Yeah, so much fun. Yeah, next time maybe not duck hunt. Maybe let's go back to Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Fair enough. Like I said at the beginning, this idea came from my friend and Patreon member Andrew Howard. We had so much fun discussing this project as a group on the Bite Size Engineering Discord server. So if you don't want to miss out on behind the scenes conversations like this, you can join through either Patreon or YouTube memberships.